What is up, YouTube? My name is James, and I'm bringing a brand new video today, and I am super hyped up right now. But anyway, this is Urban Neon Light Portraits Part 2 by Popular Band. Last time this was back in probably like March, February-ish, June, maybe, I don't even fucking know. But it was a long time ago. And if this is completely unintelligible language right now, I am completely sorry. I gotta speak slower. But anyway, this video is going to be featuring two photos, one with blue light, one with red light, super basic edits of the blue light photo, and a little bit more in depth with the red light photo. But because I want to give you guys more of a basic stance of how to edit these photos. Last ones were super in-depth, super like complicated, unique to their situations, but I feel like these edits are much more like applicable to other photos that you might take yourself. So I think these can be really helpful to people, and I think it's a really good addition to those other video I made months back, 6 or 8 months ago, whoever knows. Anyway, let's get straight into this video, no further delay, but real quick, before I end this little intro here, I'm back on my grind. I know I've been saying this for a while now, but it's legit now. It's legit. I'm ready to go. I'm trying to curse less, excuse my language. But I'm ready to go. I'm writing tutorials, hoping vlogs. I'm actually really going headfirst into a short film super soon, and I'm super excited for it. Anyway guys, though, if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see next. And listen guys, my name is James. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Okay, so here's the photo we're going to be editing in today's video. We got my friend here, Jill. She goes to school with me. We actually did a shoot about a month ago, and it was awesome. And we went to a bunch of different spots, Chinatown, this neon sign, the Irish Hunger Memorial, and we got some sick shots the whole night. And this is also one of the shots that I really liked. The next shot that I'll be showing you guys after we finish editing this one is actually one of my favorites that we shot that night, and the best, in my opinion, of the neon lights. But anyway, here is the first neon lights portrait that we have. It's of her just leaning over this little ledge thingy here on the right in front of the window. You guys see a little open sign, this blue light. It's nice. It wasn't ideal, but it will do. You see a little banding on her face. I'm not sure what that's even called that. I don't even know. But it's just like that bad color right here. It's a little blue, and then over here you see a little purpleness right there, and then a little blue right here. I don't know how to fix that. That's my one downfall with neon light portraits. So let's get straight into this basic edit in Lightroom for neon light portraits. First thing we're gonna do with this photo is we're gonna make this temperature all the way blue, 100%. Because here it looks nice, but it's just uneven tones. There's a little red here, like purplish pink here, blue here, and just it's uneven. So if we bring this all the way blue, everything gets a little more even, and it's a lot nicer. And then we're going to keep the tint what it is. If we make it a little more purple, it gets more blue. Green will get more like a neutral color, but you want it at negative too. So first thing we're going to do in our tones, we're going to up the exposure to 1.10. Get that shit bright as hell, because we're going to do a lot of editing, and especially with the tone curve and our other shit, to make it a little more darker. For example, we're upping the contrast around a plus 46 or so, right there, and then we're leaving the highlights alone. We're upping the shadows to around plus 33, like that. Get more like the detail in the dark areas. We're going to be lowering our clarity to 9, just like that. And then for our tone curve, it's going to be a very simple tone curve here. We're simply going to grab our bottom point here, bring it to right there, get one more point, put it about right there, and grab a second point right there, and bam, that is our edit. Super simple, super simple. Now if you want to mess around with the highlights, whites and blacks, you can. You can be a little more brighter, a little more darker, but I just like it at 0, because I probably exposed for the highlights, and if you mess with it, because this whole picture is highlights. This whole picture is practically highlights, so if you mess with the highlights too much, you ruin the complete exposure of the photo. Again, though, the whites isn't too much. I like it at normal, and then the blacks, if you lower it too much, icky. Up too much exposure, I guess. Not enough, those urban neon light tones that you want. And then the vibrance and saturation, you can mess with that a little, maybe desaturate it a little bit. You don't want to saturate this photo at all. Maybe up the vibrance a little bit, lower it a little bit, like that. Do what you want. You're only limited to your imagination. The HSL we didn't touch, split toning we didn't touch, and no vignetting, no camera calibration, no brushes, nothing, just this simple little edit, and you get this photo right here. And if you want to see the before and after, this simply just like that, before, after. Okay, so here is the second photo we're editing today. It's red this time instead of blue. We got this really nice like reddish pink light coming from the window and shining like a yellowish red on her face. Super dope. And so this photo is shot in between these two columns, as you can see on the side. It's kind of blurred out. I kind of like it. Part of me doesn't like it that much, but it's really subjective and it shows some depth in the photo. But again, it's not that bright, so you can't really notice it that much. But whatever, it's the photo. I like it, and I think it came out really well. So let's get straight into this edit here. This one's a little more in depth than the last one. We're gonna be using a lot more tools to edit this photo. So let's get straight into this. For our temperature and tint, we're leaving it the same for this one. The last one I wanted to make it more blue because the colors weren't that even. But right now the colors are super even. It's red and warm throughout the whole photo. I think it looks super nice. So we're gonna get straight into the exposure and contrast. We're going to lower exposure to a negative 0.05 and just a little bit there, make it a tiny bit darker, and make the contrast here at a plus 49. It's way too contrasted right now, but it'll look better in the end. So we're going to make our highlights around a 13, up the highlights a little bit, get a little more light right here, and up our shadows to around a plus 45 here. Get more detail added in these dark regions, and up our whites to around a plus 18 here. Really, you won't see much of a difference, but you'll see it later. And our blacks turn a plus 46. Again, get that detail in those dark regions. Next, our clarity is going to be at around negative 14 here. I always lower my clarity, get a more softer look to the photo. It's just a personal preference of mine. Some people like upping the clarity a little bit like this. Personally, I like lowering it a little bit. Vibrance Saturation, I did not touch this photo. I think it's perfectly like saturated. I don't think it should be touched at all. You can lower the vibrance a little bit maybe if you wanted to, but I like it where it is. Next, we got the tone curve. It's a pretty simple tone curve. They have 3 points. The first point, we're going to bring up our first one and bring it to around right here. The next one we are going to bring at around right there. And our third, we're going to bring around right there. So as you can see, actually, you know what? Up a little bit more, just like that. Perfect. We get a nice little curve here. This front here affects the fade and gives it more, again, a fade. This one affects how much deeply the shadows are going to be crushed, and we don't want it crushed that much, which is why we have it up here. And then this one affects the highlights and the whites. So as you can see, we don't want the whites to be too low. We don't want them to be too high. We kind of want it in the middle. Just like that. Next here, the only thing in the HSL we're touching is a +5 hue on the red. Let's head straight into our split toning here. The first thing we're going to do here is make the highlights a little blue. So we're going to make it around 217, which is right around like right here at around a 32 saturation. Just like that. Get those blue highlights. If I go out here and hit Command Z, that's what it looks like when you don't have those blue highlights, and I think it looks really good. So next we're gonna do the shadows, and it's gonna be around a 161 hue and a 15 saturation. Sorry, scratched it. A 13 saturation, and it's gonna look right around like just like this. It gives it that like kind of like a yellowish green hue to it on the shadows, and I think it matches the photo really, really well. I think this greenish yellow look goes really well with the reds and the yellows and these blue highlights. I think it looks really good. You can lower the highlights a little bit if you want to. You can not have them at all if you want to. Have them not that high, but it's all subjective. It's all up to you to make these creative decisions yourself. That's personally what I just do for this photo. You can make the highlights more red if you want to, and these shadows more like more bluish if you wanted to, like this. Just like that if you wanted to. Where the highlights are blue, saturation 32, and the highlights are red and orangish, and the saturation is 10. But personally, I like the blue highlights with the greenish shadow. But overall, that is the edit for this photo. Again, this one's pretty simple, but it's a little more in-depth than the last one. But anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of the before and afters. Let me know if this video was helpful to you in any way. What do you guys want to see next in the next editing tutorial that I make? But anyway, please be sure to give it a like, comment, and subscribe. And lastly, guys, my name is James. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.